That's all the chit-chat done. Let's start off with the front pages. The Daily Mail goes with Labour is scaring off big businesses. The Times says Germany's far right has first big win since Nazis. That's quite a headline. The Daily Telegraph, one-word Ofsted ratings scrapped. The Guardian says protesters turn on Netanyahu in fury over deaths of 6 hostages. The Daily Express, how ludicrous. Labour axed winter fuel help to stop run on pound. And finally, the Daily Star, Oasis, some won't pay. And those are your front pages. Right, Paul, to the Telegraph, front page, what they got?
Yeah, one-word Ofsted ratings to be scrapped, Steve. Now, the print is actually quite small, so I'm just going to make sure I say the right thing. So the grading system will be replaced by school report cards from September next year, so a year from right now. And because this has been rushed in, people have no idea what it's going to look like. Of course, it's been rushed in as a result of Ruth Perry's unfortunate death. Ruth Perry is the head teacher who committed suicide when her school was downgraded from outstanding to inadequate. And I think I agree. You know, these one-word Ofsted ratings are very difficult. You have to have a measuring process, of course. But I'm not sure. I can't comment on what it's going to look like. I'm quite surprised, actually, because I got a feeling that when the initial ruling was made after the inquest of her death, that there was going to be no change. Ofsted come out and said this is the way things are going to be. So I can only assume, and I don't know this, just my opinion, that Labour have had maybe something to do with this and that they see this as something that needs changing. And I think I agree with them.
Yeah, it wasn't very precise, was it? Just having one word, 4 different categories. We were saying earlier that means it was less precise than the 5-star hygiene ratings of kebab shops.
Yes.
So you probably wanted to do better than that.
But what it was outstanding or good or requiring improvement or inadequate, and it's going to be replaced by report cards. But we don't know what that means at the moment. Apparently, there's going to be like little cards that probably say the same words on them. I don't know.
Well,
but I don't know. I've got hesitations over all this because surely that's the same thing we expect of pupils to be marked, don't we? We expect them to go to exams and get a marking out of several. So why should teachers and schools not also have a similar marking? I'd say this. The story at the time sounded more to me that it wasn't about the marking, it was about the bullying and the intimidation of the Ofsted inspectors who put tremendous pressure on heads of schools to meet these criterions. And if they don't, then, they kind of suffer for that. So I don't know. I don't know enough. I haven't been a head teacher ever.
Well, and also,
unbelievable.
My kids aren't old enough to have gone to school yet, so I don't know what it's going to be like. But I think if I'm not willing to read more than a word about a school, then it's my stupid fault. People spend most of their lives reading the details of other people's Amazon reviews for something that costs like £3.50. Maybe read a whole card's worth of info about a school before you send your kids there.
Yeah, you think that'd be the least you could do, wouldn't it, as well?
And that's what I'm aiming for, the least I can do.
I think we're changing everything here, because I saw a headline the other day, I don't know how accurate it is, but it was about removing exams from pupils because it causes too much stress and anxiety. And I think we're sort of in this role. And now, if the teachers can't handle it, then we can't expect the pupils to be able to handle stress either.
It should just be done like some sort of tombola raffle situation. So when you start in year R at school, which your elders will start soon, they're told then they're going to be a B student. The other one who's really clever, unfortunately, is going to be thick.
Yeah. Oh, well, at least we all know.
And then we know, because it's just kinder.
We could just make it random, that'd be nice.
Even better.
Just shuffle out cards.
Yeah, like a fruit machine. Teach them how to use fruit machines.
You did well. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. We solved it.
All right, we'll move on to the front page of the Daily Mail, Kerry.
Well, the front page of the Daily Mail tells us that Labour is scaring off big business. This is it tells us a sudden collapse in confidence over UK economy. A survey of bosses revealed that tax rises, workplace reforms that loom apparently are getting them all worried, as it would do. I mean, there's nothing much for them in all of this. I'm not sure whether actually they're being painted here as scaredy cats, but I'm not sure whether they're just sceptical of reforms that are happening that are going to affect them, the workers' rights and so on. And I think maybe this is an effect of being told by the government to expect pain. It's never very hopeful, and largely doom is self-fulfilling. You know, and that is the problem with it, is that when you're giving all bad news, even if people think is absolutely necessary right now, but if you're giving all bad news, it doesn't increase people's confidence, and obviously that's having an effect. But we're actually, what this government has inherited is the fastest growth in the G7. So, you know, we're not hearing that. All we're hearing is black hole,
inconvenient,
awful, pain.
But a little bit of that is because we were slower to start growth. We had a delay after COVID.
Speak for yourself.
It'd be nice. I was pretty good at growing wider during COVID. But like America did 5% for a while. You can't keep that. And then now that we're beating America in terms of percentage, they've romped on. They're slowing down a bit, and we're now catching up.
And I'm not sure all that makes too much difference, really. It's what does make a difference is how people feel. You know, if you feel poorer or you feel your country's worse off, you will continue to believe that it is. So if your Prime Minister comes out and his optics are, this is really bad and it's, by the way, going to get worse, then that's the worst type of politics that a leader can offer, really. There is obviously a need for honesty, but I just think that was politicking to a negative extent that was unrequired. I don't think it's as bad as Labour are making out. I do think it's bad if they want to try and achieve some of the things that they're going to try and do. And big business know this. You know, it's never a surprise. Everyone knows that, you know, socialism only works if it's paid for by capitalism. So you need to keep big businesses on side. And I would argue that they're not doing that. They will now scramble seeing stuff like this in the Mail to try and appease in some way. But it'd be very interesting to see what their relationship is like between Labour and big business, because it's big business is going to keep the economy alive.
Talk about relationships. They're trying to put a happy picture here of Brad Pitt with his
they are, yes.
6-year-old, 34-year-old girlfriend, Inista Raymond. Why shouldn't he? I don't know whether this is like scornful or not, but she's 34. I think that's old enough to make a decision, really, isn't it?
I'd say so.
Yeah, and also I did see some news stories writing up like, oh, she's half his age and it's disgrace. Brad Pitt.
Yeah. I mean, if you can't be good-looking, rich and famous, if all three things are in place and you still can't get a pretty girlfriend, then I think there's something wrong.
Paul, to the Times. Next, what they got?
Germany's far right has first big win since Nazis. Quite the headline. Absolutely. I mean, it's out. I think the phrasing is absolutely outrageous. It's based. It is. I mean, this is the AfD, which is Alternative for Deutschland. Deutschland, Steve, by the way, is German for Germany.
Wow.
Just so you know.
You've Googled this.
I've got this, mate. Don't worry. But they're considered hard right because they are nationalistic. These are terms which are bad, but largely because they are anti-immigration. Now, I have seen a change in the type of people that are anti-immigrant now, and it's not that they're anti-specific people where they come from or the colour. They're anti the effect it has on their lives, the effect it has on the society and the community in which they live in. So if that now is to become hard right, far right, de facto Nazi, then there are a lot of Nazis in Europe at the moment.
Was that not slightly the narrative that the Nazis put forward?
Well, this is the dangerous game we play, Steve. Yeah. Because, absolutely, you know, if you're Nazi, you don't come out and say you're Nazi, do you? You say all sorts of fluffy things. I would argue that the AfD don't come out and say all sorts of fluffy things. They point at things and go, that looks bad, doesn't it? You don't like that, we're going to change that. And, of course, it's quite populist, but it's going to work at the moment, because what we've had is governments across Europe now for 10 or 15 years boosting the immigration policies because it's good for their own economics, and it's falling apart.
Yeah. And Kerry, is this just people hating what they've currently got because their lives aren't great, so they vote for an opposite? We've just done the same over here. We've not gone further right, we went further left because we were just sick of the current situation.
I assume, yeah, people tend to go completely the opposite way, don't they, to whatever they've just had. But I don't know. I think this headline is kind of mischievous, though.
Deliberately so.
If an left-wing party gets in and saying it's the first big win since Stalin, you know. No, it's not quite the same thing. Yeah, of course, there's a worry about rising populism. But how popular are they? They've got about 20-23% of the vote, I think, which is a significant...
In the eastern region.
So in the eastern region, I was going to say that's, yeah.
It's not a national...
These are just two regional areas they did well in, I think, didn't they?
It's a litmus, yes, it is, but it's like a litmus test, isn't it? You know, but it didn't work. I don't know if the politics are quite the same in Germany as they are in France. So once this was seen in France recently, all the left parties rallied against. They put all of their differences to one side and made sure that Le Pen's party didn't get in.
Yeah, it became left versus right.
Exactly. And maybe this can happen in Germany. I think this is mischievous because it's Germany and because of the Nazis. It does seem a little unnecessary to me. I think we need to dial down the rhetoric sometimes.
I think a lot of things are described as far right very easily and aren't necessarily. I mean, they are on the right wing, and whether they're right leaning or far right, I think is kind of debatable.
But you don't say.
But it's also Germany. Don't forget, it's had a very large immigration. It took in a million people a few years ago, and that has had an effect on the country.
Yeah, I think if ever there's a headline that looks like an intro I would have written, there.
Yeah.
Squeeze this in then, Kerry. Daily Star, what they got?
Oh, OK. This is the Oasis ongoing story. Fans and MPs slam ticket price hikes. Why are MPs involved? Not quite sure why that's a thing. Is it any of their business? I don't know. So Oasis, some won't pay. Don't go then.
Yeah.
Why is that even new?
Yeah, because I tell you,
if you don't want to go, don't go. They're hiking the prices, of course, and I don't. You know, I was never into Oasis, so I don't feel like I should be commenting much other than saying that the price of going to these kind of shows now is insane, and the rise. Also because it would be nice if they were coming back together saying they're doing this a little bit for the love of their fans. You know, or for the love of playing music. But they're saying right off it's about the money. It's about £400 million in ticket sales, which I think is a bit obnoxious, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I was a huge Oasis fan. I'm still an Oasis fan. And I don't know if you know, but being obnoxious was one of their sort of big visions. That's what they wanted to be. I don't have any issue with this whatsoever. It's very much... I know we've got to go, Steve, so let's leave it there.
Well, Kerry, the Daily Mail next. Tony Blair tells Starmer not to worry about criticism. Yeah, and that ended well.
Yeah. So Keir Starmer's popularity is plunging down as Brits brace for tax bombs and also pain, as the message we had from the Rose Garden recently. But Tony Blair has urged the Prime Minister not to take this media backlash seriously, so that must be a tremendous comfort for him. Tony Blair knows, of course, enough of this losing popularity himself. You know, it was around about 2003, after the invasion of Iraq, that his popularity itself began to plummet, and then he managed to get through the next election with a reduced majority, and then I think stumbled on for another couple of years, really, didn't he? And then
He gave it to Gordon Brown.
That wasn't a tax bomb. Those are bombs.
Actual bombs.
Those are actual bombs that did that. So, yeah, but this is just an opinion poll. It's not to be taken too seriously. It's done by a group called Opinium. Opinium?
Yeah,
which I think is like half opinion and half opium. Yeah. Just really happy people. We're expecting I don't know what's going to happen is we're definitely going to get a harsh budget coming up, but it might be part of a plan, because what the Labour want to do is to come up with a more exciting or interesting budget before the next election, and then bring their popularity back up. But at the same time, Keir Starmer's talking about 10 years of pain, so maybe that's not the thing. Maybe they're going to be honest and stick with that. So wait and see.
Short-term pain so we can get long-term discomfort.
Yes,
that's the
maybe.
Promise.
It is,
possibly.
But I mean, there's not much more to say about the fact that it's Tony Blair, Iraq, etc., etc. Don't listen to people telling you what you don't want to hear. OK, whatever. However, there is something, and I don't use this word lightly or often, there's something toxic about the politics with regards to Labour at the moment. They're a bit like a toxic partner in the sense that they'll say, your previous partner didn't know how to treat you, only I know how to treat you well, and in order for me to treat you well, I need to break you down.
It's hairdresser complex.
And then I need to build you back up again. Yeah. You don't know what's right for you. I know what's right for you. And it feels a lot like that at the moment. Now, that may be not what they're meaning to do, but it's how it's coming across.
It was freaky hearing you say it.
Yeah, I mean, I've done it a lot. I am a toxic partner.
Yeah. You've got to practice. We get experts on this show.